Now, most people, when they think of grilling, it's not just hot dogs and hamburgers, it's steak. And we've got some of the best cuts of steak that you'll ever want for grilling. But let's talk about this. This is a porterhouse steak. What makes it a porterhouse? It has the strip and it also has the fillet. This is a New York strip steak. And I'm telling you, it's a great cut of meat, but my favorite of all cuts of meats are the ribeye steak. Ribeye steak will just melt in your mouth. You know, you want to look for marbling, good marbling all the way across the steak. The last piece of meat, this is probably one of the least expensive. You can get a skirt steak, hanger steak. You marinate this ahead of time. Now, you only cook them about 2 minutes, 3 minutes on each side. We have a dry rub. You put it on there, just put it in, let it sit for a few hours or overnight, and that's all you have to do. If you want a wet rub, you just, a little bit of olive oil. You want to just make sure it gets in there, and then after it sits for a few hours or overnight, then you just put it on the grill. Just like that. Now, one of the things about grilling a steak, you're going to grill them all the same way, basically. One thing that my dad taught me, he covered his steaks in butter. And then he also covered them in mustard. It doesn't make any difference if it's a deli mustard, yellow mustard, French's mustard, it doesn't make any difference. What it does, it seals in the juices. Stick it in the refrigerator for about a half hour after you put the butter and the mustard on there. The next thing you know, you will never ever taste the mustard. It just seals those juices in perfectly. And the other thing that you got to do is make sure that you salt and pepper, and liberal salt and pepper. You get some good sea salt here, some good fresh cracked pepper.
So just make sure it's completely covered.
Covered, totally covered. And then just throw it on the grill.
How do we get some nice, sweet grill marks?
You got to have a hot grill. Look at those grill marks. They're not beautiful? You want to make sure that you don't touch that steak. You see, we just sat it on the grill and just let it be. Everybody wants to do this and pick it up a little bit. You want to just let it sit. It's not going to burn. It's not going to go crazy as long as you're watching your fire. So this is actually, it's a Chargriller. It's one of the best grills out there. It's a phenomenal grill to cook with. Now, one thing that you've got to remember for all steaks, never use a fork. Never fork your steak. That is imperative. Always use tongs because the juices will run all the way out. When a steak is done, you let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. Even 20 minutes won't hurt. And when you do that, what happens is all those juices come flowing back into the steak. What you want is the flavor to stay inside the meat. So you do that and you'll have a great steak every single time.
For somebody like me who always has to cut into a steak and it loses its juice in order to tell where it is, how can you tell what's rare?
So basically, you're poking the steak with your finger. You'll get used to it. The more steaks you cook, the better you're going to be. But a good rule of thumb is right here. Take your hand. That is rare. Okay, you see that? Then tighten it up just a bit. Just close your hands. That is medium rare. And then as you get just a little tighter, as you close your fist, when you close it really firm, what's that feel like? That feels like a well done steak.
Kim, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate all of your help. And hey, for more on Kim Bailey, check out BaileyCatering.com. Thanks for joining us on the All Pro Dad Playbook, increasing your man stock one plate at a time.
Grilling and chilling.
I'm pretty sure that this steak gave Bo Jackson his athletic ability. That's what an angel tastes like. Like a rainbow of flavor. This steak is more majestic than Prince William. If I were to describe the sweetness of this steak as an Olympic gymnast, it would be Mary Lou Retton.